In this problem, we are subtracting a couple of 4-digit numbers, and we're going to use a lot of the same skills that we've been working on. We're going to make sure the numbers are lined up by place value, and then we're going to go ahead and try to subtract. And if we run into a number that's smaller on the top and the bigger numbers on the bottom, we're going to have to regroup, so borrow that one from the previous or the column over to the left. But there's one other problem that you might run into when doing subtraction like this, and that is when you try to regroup, you might try to regroup from a 0, and that doesn't really work because there's nothing to take away from a 0. So I'm going to show you when we get there how that works in this problem. So let's take this step by step. First, I've got these already lined up by place value. The ones are above the ones, tens are above the tens, so that's all good. And then we can start with the ones column, and 9 is bigger than 4, so I can go ahead and just subtract 9 minus 4, and that is 5. So that's all good. Now let's go on to the tens column. Here I have 2 and 8. Well, 2 is smaller than 8. I can't take away 8 from 2. So I'm going to have to borrow. And when I look over to this column, the column that I want to borrow from has a 0 in it. That's nothing. I can't take a 1 away from that and turn it into anything. So what do? Well, you just push it further down the line. You go to the next column over and borrow from that one first. So let's turn this 0 into a 10 by borrowing 1 from the 5. So I'm going to put the 1 up here. So now that's a 10, but I've got to take away the 1 and make that into a 4. So I've borrowed from this column into that column. And now I'm going to go back to my tens column where I started here and borrow for it again. So I'm going to put a 1 in front of the 2, making it 12. And now I've taken away 1 from this column here, so that 10 actually becomes a 9. So there's kind of a little 2-step shuffle there. I had to borrow from 2 columns to finally get the 12. But now that we've got it, we've got 12 minus 8. And let's see, 8 I can break into 2 and 6. So if I take away 2, I get down to 10. If I take away 6 more, I'd get down to 4. So 12 minus 8 is 4. And now here, remember, we've got a 9. So 9 minus 2, that's 7. And then here, 4 minus 1, we can do that. That's 3. So 5,029 minus 1,284 is 3,745. So that's a little bit of work with subtracting some 4-digit numbers.